Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and in today's video we're going over Numpy lesson number 4. And in this lesson I wanted to keep this also fairly simple but also a bit more challenging and more interesting. So for this video, in the last video we went over bar plots, and here I'm going to be showing you guys how to make basically like multiple bar plots. So to start off, let's go ahead and import our libraries. So import numpy as np, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And moving on. Now to make the bars, like the bar plots, the bars for the bar plots, let's set a width for this for the bars, right? So bar width, and set that to 0.5, or that might actually be a bit too thick. We can also make this 0.20. Figure, we need to make the figure for the plots, so subplots fig size equal to, and then 12/8. Nice. What do you want? Okay. Huh? Unintended. Did I somehow miss making a variable? B width equals to 0.25. 2, 2, 5, whatever. Okay, whatever, screw this. Moving on. Let's oh wait, no. Okay, no. Actually, in this same, this means we have to do this in the same one, right? So yeah. So we set the bar width, and here we have the figure. We have the basically like the figure size, right? We have this is our plot here, and to add the bars, we're not gonna make data. Basically we're gonna actually create bars, and we're gonna give them different heights, right? So that's how you're gonna get the multiple bars, and then later on we're also gonna make the plots and etc. So let's start off with 3 different values, right? So let's start with let's go with the names we had before. So we have Jonathan equals to, and then give him, let's say, 5 values, right? So 5 values. So let's say this is out of 100 test scores, right? So let's give him 85, 4 on the first one. He gets a 95 on the second one, a 78 on his third test, a 100 on his fourth test, and a 82 on his last test. Next we have Annie. She here gets 100 on her first test, 100 on her second test, 89 on her third test, and a 95 on her fourth test, and a 92 on her fifth test. And let's go with Alexander equal to, and then we give him the values, right? So Alexander gets 100 on his first test. No, actually, mix this up a bit. 78 on his first test, 62 on his second test, 100 on his third test, 100 on his maybe not too many hundreds, but like 93 on his fourth test, and okay, yeah, 100 on his last test, right? So we have our values here, and it's not really values, it's just like the height set for the bars, right? Moving on, we need to set the position of the bars, right, on the x-axis, so on this axis right here. So bar 1, or we can actually say this is Jonathan basically, so bar 1 will be to Jonathan. So let's do this, np.arange, and then len and length John, oh no, sorry, length len Jonathan. There. Moving on, bar 2 equals, and then we go here x plus, oops, and then b width for x in bar 1. copy this, paste it down here, change this to bar 3, and change this to bar 2. And I have absolutely no idea why this is giving me error. Why? What is 0.2? Okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. Hold on. No, no. Okay. Continuing and moving on. Let's create the bars, right? So the plot, basically. So plt.bar plot, and let's take bar 1, Jonathan, and give him a color. So let's give him color. Let's give these guys a color RGB, right? So let's give Jonathan color G. Width equals to the bar width, right? So be width. The edge color, set that to black, and then label it, of course. So the label will be equal to Jonathan. And then we can just copy this, paste it 3 times, and change it. So here's bar 2 and bar 3. For this one, it's Annie, Alexander, R, B, edge color is this. Annie here, Alexander, and now that is done. Now we will add the basically like the X text, right? So the X text would be, how will I explain this? So let's say you have the X label and you have the Y label, and next up, let's say this is their tests, right? So we want to have it so that we have the bars, the different bars here across, and instead of these numbers we have, let's say, test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and test 5, right? So to do that, we're gonna have to add the X text. So let's start off with making the labels. So X label, and what are we gonna name the X label? Students, let's say students. And we can make, let's say the font, why am I doing this code? Parentheses, no, font weight equals to, and then we can make this bold, and let's make the font size, change the font size a bit, mess around with the settings, just have fun basically. Next up, we can make the Y label. Now for the Y label, we can have the scores, right? So the scores, and add the font weight again. I'm just gonna copy the same settings because I'm too lazy to make it anything else really. Font size equals to 10. Now that is done, we can move on to the X text, right? So we do plt.xtext, and we open up brackets, and then we open up the square brackets, right? So let's just get started. So let's start with Y, and Y plus B with for, what do we do now? So for Y in in range, oh sorry again, length, and then let's take Jonathan there, and now come out here, add a comma. Now here's where I really need like you guys to see. As you can see, we have one, two, three. We have 4 brackets closing at this end right here. So for this one, we need to close outside these square brackets, and but don't close outside these last brackets or inside anywhere else. Just outside the square brackets. And yeah, moving on. We can add the different texture that we want. So sorry. So we can have the test 1, test 2, then just keep going, test 3, test, sorry, test 4, and then finally test 5, right? And that's done. So now we just do plt.legend. I'll explain that in a second, and plt.show. Wow, very nice. Okay, well, this kind of scores are kind of getting out of hand here, but you can still see it. And yeah, so let me explain this a bit. So what we have here is multiple bars inside one basically graph, right? So we have for test one, we have Jonathan, Annie, and Alexander. We can check their scores. We can see that Jonathan got near 80, and Annie got 100. And same thing, say here, Annie got 100, and you can keep going on here. The legend is this. This is the legend, right? So since we have the sorry, since we have the label here as students, and let's say if we didn't have the legend, if for say someone removed this, we wouldn't have the legend, right? So we wouldn't know what any of this stands for. The only real way we would be able to tell. Sorry, I'm absolutely mumbling. The only real way we would know who is who would be to go into the code and search. So color green, color red, color blue. But if we do plt the legend, we load in the legend to the plot, right into the plot. So um, that gets loaded in right there. And as you can see, this was the legend. So as soon as I remove this, this basically disappeared, right? So also the X ticks are these ticks that happen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 ticks here, and if you go over here, you can also see these same lines coming out. And yes, if you thought that these are called Y ticks, then you are correct. You can also change these ones by using plt.y ticks, and these are just X ticks. And yeah, that's about it for multiple bar or like multiple bar plots. And yeah, so see you guys in the next video.